Good evening and welcome to SIS. SIS is an acronym for Sisters Inspiring Sisters. I'm Ejiro and I'll be your host. And here in the studio with me is none other than my co-host, Miss Nakesha Woods. This lovely young lady is the founder of SIS, which is a nonprofit organization located right here in Detroit. She is an alumnus of the Detroit School of Arts and the result of the DPS school system. She is a strong example of a young, black, gifted businesswoman, Nakesha Woods. Today's topic is on women in media. We're going to be talking about how women are portrayed in music, television, and social media. We're interviewing Randy Miles on her personal experiences as a woman who works in radio. Randy, welcome.
Thank you for having me. Randy. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yes, it's totally an honor to have you here with us today.
Okay, Randy. Well, we know that you are a great inspiration to a lot of people in the city of Detroit. And Ejiro has mentioned that you're one of her idols, so she's very glad to meet you today. It's always a pleasure. So what I want to know is what inspired you to get into radio?
You know, as my mom would have it and tells the story, I actually would entertain her friends. You know, they would play Keno and bridge and things, and I would come out with a pencil in my hand and start singing or something. She says that she always knew that I was destined to do something in the arts.
Wow.
On a personal side, my testimony is I actually wanted to go into broadcasting after, and I'm a Detroit Public School System student as well. Half Inkster, Michigan, half Detroit, Michigan. And I had an internship through the Explorers out of WXYZ.
Oh, okay.
And I had a chance to work with Diana Lewis and Bill Bonds, and I got a chance to watch the rock station WRIF and
goodness.
some of those guys do their work. And that's when I got bit by the bug, so to speak, and really wanted to do it. But then I was dating this young man who told me that I should go to school to be a secretary or something.
Oh.
Exactly.
And you told him you had a passion.
And I said, okay, well, then you need to date somebody who wants to be a secretary or something, because that's not what I wanted. And I actually spent 2 years in college and went to Rochester College first and didn't know what I wanted to do. And I graduated from there with my associates. And I got a job working for DTE, and at the time, it was before everybody had their little voicemails and things like that. So I'm an old chick, but I would call people and tell them that their gas was going to be shut off in 5 days if they didn't pay their bill. So so I would get cussed out every single day, but people would say, "But you have such a nice voice," but I still hate you. So one day I was driving down 8 Mile and I had a flat tire in front of this building, and I went into the building because I didn't have a phone at the time to make a phone call, and I asked them, you know, what kind of building is this? And they said, well, this is the Specs Howard School of Broadcast Arts. I knew nothing about the school, so it was like the heavens opened up and angels were singing, oh, and the rest is my story.
That is amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how I ended up, and I went to school there, took a quick break so that I can save up some more money to finish there. Finished and was in the business probably about 8 weeks after I graduated from Specs. And my first job in the business was for Crawford Broadcasting, which is the Christian broadcasting company down the dial from here.
Okay.
And I've been in the business ever since. I taught at Specs Howard. I came back to teach, like Welcome Back Cotter. I've done, you know, the whole 9 yards since.
Okay, awesome. So how would you say, who would you say are some of this city's biggest role models?
Wow. As far as role models are concerned, for me, it's not your typical people. Like, I adore Monica Morgan, the photographer, because she has been a photographer for not only icons like Rosa Parks, but Michelle Obama.
Okay.
So I adore her for what she does and how she represents the city of Detroit. Also, I feel like role models are people who not only talk the talk, but they walk the walk as well. So I would consider my pastor, my dad, those are the kind of people. It's just not necessarily for me to say that people who are in the industry are role models. Now, personal, as far as when I grew up listening to the jazz station, and Rosetta Hines was one of my role models and now one of my dear friends. As a result. But I wanted to be her until I realized I can only be me.
Right. So you had to tap into your own individuality.
Sure.
And learning what worked best for you.
Sure.
So that's very important.
Yeah, it's so important. But as far as a role model who's in the industry, there's so many people who are out there doing things. I love the whole Lewis family. Diana Lewis and her daughter. They have inspired me over the years.
Right.
And Hugh Perkins, absolutely adore him and what he brings to the community. I am getting to learn and absolutely love Everett Cassimy from Channel 4. He has jumped right into the city of Detroit and immersed himself. And so those are the kind of people that I look at and go, yeah, you know, they're really doing things.
Right. And you've named some really good people who are known for their poise and their diction and their personalities. And they're known for doing things that are positive in the community, not things that are not as positive. Which, you know, we're talking about how women are portrayed in the media today.
Yes.
And which brings me to some of the other ways that people see us, African-American women. For example, women in videos and music videos and rap lyrics and things like that. So what is your take on that and how women are portrayed in, you know, in that type of way?
I am trying to figure out, and I work side by side with the hip hop station, the adult urban station, and the talk station. We're all in the same building along with my station, which is Praise. And I'm trying to figure out, when was exotic dancers a role model? When did that become the role model to become a pole dancer? When did that become an acceptable way to portray yourself? When did we start to dummy ourselves down to say this is the only way I can get an attention from a man?
Right.
I have not yet to figure that out, but what I do know is that because of the glorification of that type of lifestyle from the music, and people can't say that they're not influenced by music. Music is universal. If it's a happy and upbeat song, it changes your mood.
Definitely.
If it is a song about fighting and war, you get angry. If it is a song about sex, drugs, and rock and roll, you're going to feel like you need to be a part of that. So there's no way in the world you can say it doesn't affect you. I just like the beat. Well, there's a problem with that to me. So because you have these artists who feel like that, you know, this is the lifestyle that they portray, so they put it out there, and then we look at it as women going, okay, that's what it takes to get a man. I don't want that kind of man.
Right.
You know, but I'm not that age either. For example, I went out to celebrate a friend's birthday over the weekend. Now, Randy Miles is not supposed to be up in the casino. Okay, you know what I'm saying? I'm not supposed, but that's where her birthday party was. But it was inside the place that sells sushi.
Okay.
So I love sushi. So, you know, I'm going to go and I want to celebrate her birthday. It's her birthday. So after dinner, that's when all of the club music started, and people were coming in, and there were women with clothes that were painted on, and you see women doing all kinds of dances that you would see at a gentleman's club in there. But they're dancing in a circle with each other while the men watch. So they're portraying that straight from the videos because that's what these guys do at the Gentleman Club. They don't come up there and dance with them.
Wow.
They're not dancing. It's not like I'm going to a salsa club and we have fun. You know, it's not like we're right with a partner. It's not like we're doing salsa merengue, ballroom dancing. There's nothing classy about that whatsoever. They're standing there waiting to throw their dollars at you. That is cheapening you and dumbing you down to make people feel like it's acceptable for you to portray yourself. Now, the next time somebody tries to hit on you, now you're going to be mad and you're going to be angry.
That's true.
Well, you put yourself out there like that. You tried to emulate what was on the video, and look what happened.
Right. Or what they hear in the music. Like you said, music is a thing where it plants seeds. You know what I mean? It can be subliminal.
Sure.
And you may not even, the last song you hear before you go to bed at night, when you wake up in the morning, you will be thinking about that song.
Right.
It's sometimes, you know how you ever get a song in your mind?
They call them earworms.
Earworms, and you cannot get it out. So if you're hearing, if our children are hearing, being called these different names. And our women are hearing these things, describe them in such a way. First thing in the morning, what do we expect them to act like by the time they get to school?
And what happens is it's okay for now you to call your girl
exactly
the same name.
Right.
Like it's a great name to be called.
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm not a female dog.
Exactly.
I'm not.
Exactly.
Now, I go to the sushi bar and there are people dancing. And I'm enjoying myself with my girlfriend, and I am standing there, and I'm upright. I'm not, that presented a different class of people coming up to me, talking to me. Because I'm not gyrating, but people were like, "Hi, how are you? You look lovely tonight."
Right.
That kind of a thing, as opposed to, watching me gyrate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the way you carry yourself is a direct reflection on how people are going to approach you.
And how they treat you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm not going to have men in a circle watching me.
Right.
Now, somebody might be able to approach me, but they have to know they had to come correct.
Right.
Because I'm standing with my shoulders square and I'm looking fierce. Don't come to me with that kind of stuff because I'm not that type of woman.
Exactly.
But I don't listen to that either. And when I do, I get sickened because it scares me.
Oh my gosh. Yes. It's so overwhelming sometimes where, because Inspiring Sisters is in the community and we work with teenagers. I feel like I have to kind of keep my ear to the ground to a certain degree because they're using lingo and they're using dialogue that wasn't out when I was in high school.
Yeah.
So I'll listen to some of the songs just to kind of see what's going on. And sometimes I can't even make it through the song because I feel so violated.
Yeah, I've done that. I've cut it off.
Yeah.
Somebody said, like I said, I'm right next door to the program director who works for the hip hop station. He was playing some song. And I was like, I feel like I need to spray my oil in this after hearing that, jokingly.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it was just, he has to listen to music just like I have to listen to music in my office as well. So, I guess it's fair that I can give him, an earful of Jesus and then he can. But some of the songs are just so out there, it's just so scary.
Yeah. And they push the envelope in the name of arts.
Yeah.
And, I'm all about the arts, alum of DSA, the whole nine. I love arts. But pushing the envelope in the name of arts to me is just it's a cop out because there's certain things that you should not want your mother or your sister or your daughter to be around or to hear or be subject to in the name of art. So it's a certain thing called respect. And I think that that's the part where it seems like a lot of music has lost that respect aspect of it. And because there's no respect in it, our girls are listening to that and they're feeling like they need to become that because that's what's popular. That's what's hot. That's what's out there. And that's a horrible thing.
And then when the phase is over, then you're nothing more than what they are calling people.
Exactly.
And
you brought
on
up
the
a
street
good
now.
point. Yeah, you brought up a good point that a lot of times, young ladies will use those words to one another. And so we were having a session a mentoring session, and I asked the girls, I said, how many of you, jokingly use those type of words or calling your friends those different things? And, well, we'll play and I'll say this to her and I'll call her this word and that word. And then, well, how many of you would allow a boy to do that? No, never, ever, ever, ever. So my question to them was, if they see you calling each other that, calling yourself that, and we all know what word we're talking about, then how can you get upset if he calls you that? So you have to learn that you have to respect yourself, because like you said, how you carry yourself is how people see you and perceive you, and that's how they'll treat you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely. So reality TV, we have the housewives of this and the desperate housewives of that, and divas and R&B ladies and all these different things. So, I just wanted to know, actually from Ejiro, I kind of want to know from you, like, as a young person, because it's like popular. It's popular TV, the ratchetness, or, that's the new word.
Yeah.
It's not as new as it used to be, but, just seeing that type of thing. Why is your generation so drawn to it? And then from Randy, I want to hear from you the more mature response of how it's perceived.
You sure?
I want the unedited version. Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I think my generation is drawn into it because I think they think that it's in, and it's, it's hot right now and everyone should watch it. And it's like, you have to stick to the status quo. Everyone wants to watch it. Like, it's just, everyone wants to do it. Everyone wants to fit in, and be a part of conversation at school. They're like, oh, did you see that? Oh, yeah, of course I did. I wouldn't miss it. And then if you're like, oh, I didn't see that, they're like, oh, something's wrong with you. Because they're kind of confused nowadays. Teens are confused about what's right and what's acceptable and what's not acceptable.
Good. Yeah, that's a great point. I think there is a lot of confusion on what's good and acceptable. Do you think that they look at it like, oh, it's funny? Like, this woman cursed out this other woman because, I don't watch it, honestly. I don't watch any of it. But, she curses her out, and that's a funny thing, that kind of thing. Is it humorous? Is it something to aspire for? Because they seem to be successful in the degree that they have nice things and nice homes and things.
Yeah, people do take it as a joke because sometimes they record it and play it back over and over again, and then they'll quote it at school like, oh, yeah, I remember that, and then they'll act it out and stuff.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
They're acting it out.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know some adults that are so into these shows that they know every one of them. If they miss it, they're going to watch the marathons. They binge watch Housewives or whatever the case may be. I don't watch any of them.
Me either.
And then we have Mary, and we've got the Sheards, and we've got the Preachers of LA. And I know just about everybody on those shows. My issue is you put your life in a public platform. It's already public enough. Now, not the Housewives. Those are people we didn't even know.
Right.
And they've intruded into our lives, and now we're supposed to believe that every housewife is like, I don't know one housewife like that. I do not.
Yeah.
Those are not the housewives that I know. So that's first of all.
And they're not housewives, most of them.
Most of them are not, because they've put their life on a public platform, and now their life has become a spectacle, and now you have to go out into this world and act like the spectacle that you are on television in order to keep that facade up. The majority of them have had issues with finances, issues with crime, issues with marriages. That's a big deal. So many of them have destroyed their marriages because of the public intrusion in their lives.
Right.
Issues with their kids. I remember that Kate and
John at 8
plus 8. Look at their family. They have 8 kids, and their whole family is destroyed because of what we saw in the public. So
it's a cost.
It is a huge cost. And Tina Campbell almost just lost her marriage because she talked about her family's and her husband's indiscretions publicly,
right?
Because they have that show, and she knows now that she should have, kept that between the two of them. but it's out there now, and
You can't
so
undo
now,
it.
so you can't undo it. So now we have to watch them try to lovey it up together to get back together. And Godspeed to them. I hope that they do work their marriage out, and I know their marriages work through infidelity and whatever else. But we didn't need to see that.
Right.
And so, what I feel about reality shows are they are a cheap way to put television programs together. So you got somebody following you around with a camera so many hours out of the day, and then they edit it out to way it is more dramatic than it really, really is. And then they put that on the air in the worst possible light than you can be. You know, there are some exceptions. I actually think this year's was good. You know, I watched a few episodes of that. But then there are the other ones that I'm not even going to talk about that I feel like, why did you put that out there like that?
Right.
So you put your life out there like that, and now people are expecting you to behave that way.
Exactly. And what's happening is people who are watching it, especially young people, are starting to, like you said, Ejiro, reenact it.
Right.
And so I've taught so many mentoring sessions at different schools where we're just trying to get the girls to stop getting in each other's faces over the smallest conflict, putting their hands in each other's faces, the smacking of the lips, rolling of the eyes, the same type of attitudes that you see on those shows.
This is the thing. We have to work so hard to be able to love each other as we are, as women. We have hard enough time as women of color loving each other. And that's a shame.
Right.
And then you add to that women who are on the public screen fighting each other.
Yeah.
And then we've got to see that. And so now that's okay? No, it's not.
It's not.
I don't fight with my girlfriends. You know, and I'm not putting a room with a bunch of people I don't know and then let's see what happens.
Exactly.
I'm not, you know, into that. I had an experience where I had the opportunity to see the housewives of Atlanta in their element.
Oh.
And I won't talk about how I ended up there, but you know, it was a whole thing. Tyler Perry, the whole 9 yards. It was pretty cool. But they were so standoffish.
Oh.
And you know why? They have to be now. You know, you got cameras following you and you have to be on
all the time.
Yep. So now you're in a situation where the cameras are following you to this cocktail party for Tyler Perry, but there are people who don't know you all around you. So they're standoffish to the people they don't know.
Okay. Wow. Yeah.
Because you got to be on.
Yeah. And so what our young people are emulating is not even real.
No.
It's called reality TV, but the thing about it is it's not real.
It's so
much
far from real.
stage things.
I mean, because why are they not showing them going to pay bills? Why are they not showing them? Because it's boring. Our lives on a daily basis, we do not have that kind of drama every single day.
No.
Who does?
Right.
Nobody.
That's exhausting. So, you know, they're not going to see them having to go to the doctor, getting a podiatry to clip your toenail. And they're not showing none of that stuff.
Exactly.
They're showing them sitting there getting a foot rub from somebody on an exotic island where, you know what, most of us in a lifetime will be glad to go to once.
Exactly. Yes. And then they fight the whole time. They complain the whole time.
Right.
Yeah,
and
I'm grateful.
I don't know. I think I may know one person that I am acquainted with that if I were to go out to a restaurant, they would find a complaint in something. So it's very rare that I even go with that person anywhere.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to associate with that kind of drama.
But see, you disassociate yourself from people who you don't like. But see, the thing with these shows is they have the same group of people who seem to not like each other because they fight and whatnot. And then they go to their little side screen testimonial booths or whatever, talk about each other like crazy, and then they are next to each other. They're back together again.
And see,
over
and
over
then
again.
Once the show airs, people don't know this either. Those shows, those clips, all of that camera stuff was shot maybe a year prior to it actually airing. So now we reverse and go, oh, you said that about me?
Yeah.
We don't know anything about that.
Mm-hmm.
I found out about those inside secrets because of what I ended up having to do. So what you're seeing happened maybe a year or more ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then they get together at the end of the show for the little reunion show.
Yeah, and then they're heated. They're ready to fire
heated
off
because
by that
now
time.
they see all that stuff that happened.
Okay, that makes sense.
Oh, you talked about me like that? That's where it gets heated because this happened a year and a half ago.
Mm-hmm.
You're just now seeing this, and you like, for real?
Yeah. Yeah, it's really unfortunate between social media has its own war against young women as well, because I'm seeing so many videos floating around of these women now who are doing these speeches or monologues, if you will, giving advice on how to do this or how to do that, usually pertaining to guys. And you probably know what I'm speaking of, Ejiro. But they'll say, well, if you're going to keep a man, you got to do X, Y, and Z to keep him happy and different things. And, then the guys will share it. But they are degrading themselves by the things that they're saying.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like they're becoming social media sensations, social media stars, because they're getting so many likes. They're getting so many shares, and they're going viral.
Doing it for.
Absolutely.
They're doing it for the shares and the likes and hoping it will go viral. But then again, they're in the same boat as the video vixens. They're the same women who, will gyrate all over the camera just so that they can say they were in a video by whoever at the time, Trey Songz, whoever. The hottest body, and they celebrate that.
Yes.
But they forget, because young people, and no disrespect, have a tendency not to see farther than their face.
Absolutely.
Because I can't see farther than my hand, so I don't know that this is going to have repercussions later on.
Right. Yeah.
You're going to live with these decisions far longer. And it's not to say that you can't change your life. It's not to say that you don't have to refocus and retool your life.
Right.
Because I've changed my life many times. I've retooled and re-engaged my life many times.
Right.
But I also have to live with the consequences of my actions when I wasn't looking further than my hand.
Exactly. So let me ask you this, Randy. What is your take on Beyonce? Now, Beyonce is this huge person as far as a lot of people, especially young women, idolize her. She has millions and millions of fans worldwide. Does she help the Black community as far as her presence and what she does as far as her music and things, or does she hurt the Black community?
For Randy Miles' answer, tune in next month to the second half of SIS Women in Media episode, next month only on Detroit Public Schools Radio, WRCJ 91.9 Detroit.